Hi, I'm Rochelle.
And I'm Alicia.
We're Wild Goose Meditation, and today is day 3 of our bite-sized series on parenting. And today we're going to talk about some tools for emotional awareness, and that is for parents and for children.
So this is a reminder that we do these exercises when everyone's in a good mood. So a good time to do it would be maybe at bedtime. It could be when you're on a hike. It could be when you're in the car or when your child wakes up in the morning before they leave for school or whatever. And it doesn't have to be 30 minutes. You don't have to find a 30-minute chunk of time in your day to do this.
Just a minute or two.
Yeah, 1 or 2 minutes together.
And this is important because if you've ever been told to just, take a deep breath when you're upset, well, that usually doesn't go over well. And actually, we can't assimilate new information when we're in fight or flight, when we're having a stress response. Our brains just are too busy with other things to incorporate new learning. So if we practice this when we're feeling peaceful and calm, and then in the moment we can say, okay, remember that exercise that we practiced, let's do it together. That's going to be a lot more effective.
This is a grounding meditation called 5 Things Meditation. It's great for relaxing, and it can also be done on a walk with your eyes open. It's great for kids because it keeps their minds busy, and it's great for adults who can't stop thinking. This exercise is also specifically good for acute anxiety, so times when your child or you feel like they have lost control. Many times, intense anxiety causes our brain and our body to be in separate places. We're so immersed in the story that we're creating that we can't recognize reality. This meditation brings us back to reality. Take a deep, slow breath. Begin to become aware of your surroundings. Look around and notice 5 things you can see without interpreting or labeling what you see. Close your eyes and continue breathing steadily. Now notice 5 things you can hear. Notice how some things are far and some things are close. Some sounds are repetitive. It's okay to count the same thing more than once. Notice 5 things you can feel. This could be the ground beneath you, the air in your nostrils. It could be your clothes. If you notice yourself getting lost in thoughts about what you feel or hear or see, just notice that you're thinking. It's part of meditating. And bring yourself back to feeling or hearing or seeing. You can do this exercise for as many rounds or as many minutes as you would like. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back to this moment.
This breathing technique is called balloon breath, and this is an excellent exercise for combating anxiety and anger, and it's great to teach your kids how to deal with their emotions. And the breath is exactly what it sounds like. We're using the imagery of blowing up a balloon. So we breathe in through our nose, and then through pursed lips, we breathe out using our abdominal muscles to exert enough pressure as if you were blowing up a balloon. And we breathe in through the nose and blow it out through the mouth. And in through the nose and out through the mouth as if you're blowing up a balloon.
This next meditation helps us to identify stories that we tell ourselves throughout the day and in our life about what's happening to us. You can go ahead and close your eyes. Take a couple of cleansing deep breaths. Oftentimes, as we go throughout our day, we begin telling ourselves stories about the situation that we're in. And eventually we begin reacting to those stories versus reality. An example of this might be if you had anxiety flying on airplanes. If there were to be a strange noise that was unexpected, a person with anxiety might begin writing a story in their mind about what's wrong with the airplane and begin reacting with anxiety toward that sound, and may interpret any sequential bumpiness or angst on anyone else's face as confirmation that something is wrong with the airplane. Whereas someone who is sitting next to them, who does not have anxiety, may hear the sound, observe it, and then continue on in the story of reality that is around them, which is that there was simply a strange sound and nothing is actually truly wrong. Bring to mind a recent event or situation that you found yourself in that was difficult or emotionally arousing or triggering for you. Try to go back to that situation in your mind and ask yourself the question, what story am I writing about this situation? Am I adding assumptions or emotions to this situation that are not actually rooted in reality? When we become aware of the stories that we're writing and reacting to, we are able to respond with much more clarity and purpose. We are also able to identify a thought and a story as a thought or a story and not as reality. This can also help us when we see other people, including our children, responding to stories that they may be writing in their life. As you become more comfortable with this practice, in the moment you can ask yourself, what is the story I am telling myself right now? Ask yourself if it is true, if you know it's true, and if it's completely rooted in reality, or if it's possible you're making assumptions about this situation that are causing you to react strongly to them. When you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes and take a deep breath.
So this exercise of writing the story, or at least identifying the story that you're telling yourself, is one that you can do on your own, and it's super helpful in parenting situations, but it's also really good for kids, and we can adapt it in ways that are age appropriate for our kids wherever they're at in their development.
With a younger child, maybe somebody who's between the ages of like 3 to 9, they might have a hard time expressing to you, like, this is the story I'm writing in my mind, or this is why I'm feeling this, because children at that age have a hard time identifying the difference between their thoughts from reality. And so one thing you can do is you can have them draw how they're feeling or draw a situation. So for example, my son was experiencing stress in a situation, and he couldn't really tell us what was triggering the stress or why he was feeling that way. But he did draw us this picture about what his stress looked like. And as we we went through the picture, he could tell us, this is when I'm feeling this way physically. This is how I feel in my stomach. This is how I feel when this happens. And then we were able to tease out, like, okay, so this is what's triggering you. And around that same age too, from ages maybe like 8 to 12, you could also sit down and be a scribe for them. So if they want to tell you a situation that happened, they can walk you through it, and then you can walk through it and say, is this exactly what happened, or is it possible that maybe you thought this because of this, situation, but really maybe there was something else you could have done, or maybe.
And older kids or teenagers can still do this exercise, and they can probably write it themselves, like in a story format if they want, or talking it through is always a win.
And if you've done this a few times with them, or just done this before with them, then you can also prompt them in a situation where you can say, perhaps they're really, really in angst over like a piano recital. And you can say, what story are you writing right now? Do you feel like your worth or value is on the line? Are you telling yourself that we're all going to reject you if you mess up? You can kind of help them bring them back to reality in that situation too.